What's up, everybody? Dusty and I have a very special guest on. I started following this guy on LinkedIn and followed him over to TikTok and I think YouTube now. This guy is a tremendous asset to the food service community. He takes a lot of pride in his work. He takes care of his customers. So, we need more people like that. So, everybody, this is Joey Hall. Joey is from the Montgomery, Alabama area, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I actually live in a small town called Cusada, Alabama, just outside of Montgomery.
Nice, nice. So you are a small business owner, self-employed.
Yes, sir.
Much do everything yourself, which is
Pretty
kind of
much
crazy.
95% of the stuff you see, it's just me.
So what do you do when you have a big job? Like you need a second hand? Do you have people you know, or do you like get a day laborer? Or do you got like a neighbor or a buddy or somebody that helps you out? Or
Well, I don't get too many big jobs. My big job to me is changing out a 20 by 20 walk-in cooler. So that's not, it's not too bad.
That's still pretty good size. It's not fun throwing those roof panels up yourself.
Yeah. I'm not, we'll spend the money and get the crane, and I have the material lifts for the evaporators, and
okay.
It's not too bad, but I think it was 3 or 4 years ago I did an entire rooftop change out, and I did have to go to Labor Finders and pull me some help. But I really don't do a lot of that, Pat. I'm the guy that they call second or third, and when I come in, I try to do the best I can and clean up when I leave.
Nice. Yeah, I always see you. You do a really good job. You're really thorough.
Thank you.
You look out for your customer. You care for your customer. So I always tell everybody, people, talk about how to do a good job, and it comes down to two simple things: have pride in your work, and just do the right thing, and the rest just falls into place. And I think you have pride in your work, and you always try to do the right thing for customers. So it's always gonna be there for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep, I try hard, man, and it's tough sometimes working by yourself. But it's either too much or too little. So you got to do the best you can.
So
knock them out one at a time.
So you're 24/7 on call, man.
Yes, sir. Yep. If I go on vacation, I'll call my top 5 and let them know I'm going out of town for a week, and let's pray nothing stops.
There you go.
So Dusty doesn't have LinkedIn, do you?
I do not. Well, I have one, but I don't use it.
So Joey's on LinkedIn all the time. He's on TikTok and a little bit on YouTube. So you have to get on there and check him out.
I will for sure. Yeah. What is LinkedIn? What is the format kind of similar to like Instagram and stuff? Like I said, I've put a resume on there, but I've never engaged or interacted on there.
It's more like Facebook, but it's like all like professional stuff. Some people, I put personal stuff on there sometimes, but most of the time it's just like business or like development stuff.
Okay. You can do videos and stuff on there, can't you?
Yep. We're live on there right now, actually.
Oh, nice. What's up, LinkedIn?
What's up, LinkedIn, TikTok? We're not on TikTok, are we?
No. I'm not to that 1,000 follower mark. I can't go live on there. So.
Oh, okay. You'll be there.
Yeah, Jay Maiden says hopefully it's a cold pack walk-in.
What's up, Jay?
So, I noticed you do like a lot of PMs though. You're out there, you're changing filters, you're cleaning coils, changing belts, making sure everything's running top notch, and that's kind of what I want to focus on tonight.
Okay.
Explain why PM is valuable to our customers. What makes it a selling point? Before COVID, I remember we used to have PMs, all kinds of PM contracts. COVID hit, and it kind of went to the wayside. It was just more of a emergency services only. But we're starting to see some of that PM stuff roll back in now that everything's starting to get back to normal. So let's talk about, what value does your PM bring to, say, one of your top 5 customers? What what would you say would be the best value in a PM to them?
Well, you're exactly right. Right about time COVID, everybody tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
Tighten that belt. But they are starting to loosen up a little bit, and I feel like people have a little bit extra money. It was hard to educate them that you need to spend the money on the PMs now, because when you do have it, guess what? 2 years from now, it's going to be compressor time instead of coil cleaning time. And that's the value that people. I try to preach it every day. It's hard. It's very hard. That's some skills I'm trying to learn now. Is speaking and trying to not sell, but just get people to listen and how to teach. What I'm trying to tell you is very important, especially with air conditioning, refrigeration, cooking equipment, even fryers, ovens. Stuff will go down quick if it's not cleaned. Just this morning, I had a guy I was speaking with from an exhaust fan manufacturer. We met at a restaurant, and we was going over some makeup air equipment that some bolts had broken on the motor brackets. And he was noticing when we was leaving, the exhaust fan filters were very dirty. And he drilled me on how I need to speak with the customer about how this is important. Not only will the grease not leave the building, but guess where it's going? Into the return air grill, straight into the air conditioner. And I mean, every piece of equipment is important to clean it. Even if you don't know how to do maintenance, even if you don't know how to work on equipment, even if you're just working the fryer, dropping the fries, dropping the onion rings, you can clean the grease off of it when you're done. Very important. When you drop the oil, clean the burners. I pass out these brushes all the time. I don't know if I have some. I mean, just very important. Just use things like this. These little pokers just to poke the drain. Man, I did a video the other day where at a major chain restaurant, grease totally clogs up the drain tubing. I mean, the fryers are down at that point. You can't cook in 5-day-old grease.
Dusty loves those Fitco drains.
Oh my gosh! I just had one today.
That's what he's talking about. He had one completely packed, did pull apart.
Man, I got one today. Had to pop the elbows off, pull the whole drain line out, use a drill, use a long screwdriver, and then a big wire brush, and then a brush on my impact. I mean, gosh, it's just stuff like that, just if you would have cleaned it out, now you're looking at labor on top of now I'm cleaning it. So when you could have just PM'd it or cleaned it yourself, now you're going to pay for it. It's like eventually you're going to pay that bill. It just depends on when you're going to pay it or when the equipment's going to decide to make you pay it.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
That's exactly it. And that was today. So that's a funny coincidence. Pat knows my distaste for those drains, man.
That was a Pitco?
Yep. Yes, it was.
Okay. Yep. They're fun. They're fun to work on.
So on the HVAC and refrigeration, a lot of people don't know is, those coils get packed with dirt, debris, grease, and it doesn't shed that heat. That drives your head pressures up. That drives your discharge temperatures up. It makes that thing work harder. And, when your discharge temperatures get so high, your oil starts to break down. Your oil breaks down. You lose your lubricating properties of your compressor. Eventually, your compressor goes out, all because of dirt buildup in that coil. It's amazing. If you see a coil dirty, brush it out. The customers can do this. I mean, if they see a dirty coil, it doesn't take anything to get a shot back and suck it out before it gets grease laden or anything else. I mean, it comes a point where they can't do it. We got to come in and do it for them. But there's some stuff they can do on their own. We used to sell that little blue hair stuff, stick on all the coils when we did PMs and stuff like that, and it's the small things make a huge difference, and they just don't get it. So
that's right. Yeah,
exactly.
It starts out as a little dust. Next thing you know, the grease hits the dust,
Yep.
Next thing you know, the dusty grease gets sucked into the coil. Then you got a major issue. Then you possibly have to remove the refrigerant to remove the coil just to clean it if you're talking a reach-in refrigeration unit.
Yeah, so Jay Norman brings up a good point. He says PMs are important, but it's also important to spend the time at the end of the PM to chat and build a relationship and trust with the customer. That way, when something fails, they trust to call you to come and inspect it and fix it. That's where the money is. Yep. So the PM is all about building that relationship with the customer, getting you in front of the customer, like he says. And, it familiarizes you with the equipment, but, you get in there and say, you notice something's running a little hot or cooler's, a door gasket or something like that. It gives you a chance to get in there and note these things and then let the customer know. And then that's where you can get, your return on dollars. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I hate doing PMs. It drives me nuts. But, I mean, you got to do it. I mean, it's just part of the job. It's not the fun part, but it's part of the job.
Yeah, but honestly, Pat, it's my favorite job. I love it, man. I mean, I tell I talk with a lot of business owners. I'm always telling them, and we're talking back and forth. I'm not telling them anything, but I say my opinion. I believe the best tech should be on the PM.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make money. I mean, we're in business to make money. Yeah, we want the customer to have clean equipment, last forever, all that good stuff. But I mean, you can make money too.
Yeah. I got to where I didn't want to do them, but now looking back at it, like when we have PMs and I see someone else do it and they don't do a good job, and I have to go back behind them because something didn't get cleaned properly or something didn't get noted on the PM. I'm like, then I got to try to explain to the customer why they missed it or why it broke down. I'm like, man, I was like, so now I try to do the PMs. I try to get the newer techs and I try to walk them through how to do it. We're structure based. Why it's like how ours does it is like it's so much time per piece of equipment, but they have a checklist they want you to check. There's no way you're going to check everything on that checklist in that amount of time for each one of those pieces of equipment. So I just tell my guys, they're like, well, the office tells me we got 4 hours. Well, guess what? I don't care how long it takes you. I want the checklist done right, and we'll deal with it on the back end. They want it done in 4 hours because that's all the money they got in it. So guess what? If you do 6 hours and you find 2 or 3 add-ons, or you go 8 hours and you find a handful of work, they're not going to care because you're catching that other stuff. You're going to catch revenue on the backside. Just do the job right and take care of the customer.
Yes, sir. That's exactly. Yes, sir. Very, very important.
Yep. Charles says, hey, guys, thanks for representing our industry and growing the conversation around PMs and equipment service. Keep encouraging new techs with your content. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Make sure you're following Joey on TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'll get Dusty back over on some of these other sites. He's getting a little more active on Instagram. I think he's feeling guilty.
No. I've been trying, man. Like I said, I've been so dang busy. That's like I've been meaning to post more on Instagram, but it's been a busy couple of weeks. But I'll get on those other platforms too, and maybe not TikTok, but I'll get on LinkedIn.
Yes, just what we were saying, refrigeration kitchen tech. I used to think that same thing, and I've kind of matured and think of it as a different way now. And I don't particularly like doing them, but it's a necessary thing that has to be done. So,
well, and that's a lot of companies, have had the wrong idea that PMs were just time fillers. And I mean, if you treat it like a time filler, it's gonna reward you like it's just a time filler. If you treat it like it's your opportunity to see how this equipment works, be in front of it, face to face, check everything. And instead of waiting on that Sunday evening service call, boom, you get it done Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday morning or whatever. And it helps you, because if something's so bad past the point and, you got to go out there and emergency call and fix it and wait on parts. And then, that kind of puts a bad taste in the customer's mouth. Whereas if you catch it before it goes out and fix it early, you're a superhero at that point.
Oh yeah, nothing better than your PM in a cooler or something. You catch it, hey, this thing's around 42, 43 degrees. And you clean it and it's still not catching up, and you start doing your amp draws and compressor, and you notice, hey, my amperage is low. I got ice forming, my fans are running. I'm like, oh, this thing may have a leak. You bring it to your customer, like you said, on Tuesday morning versus Friday at 7 o'clock at night during dinner rush, and they're absolutely slammed. And now you're either going out there during dinner rush Friday, or you're getting up early Saturday morning going out there. They're paying overtime for something you could have caught earlier in the week. So
exactly.
It has a very good benefit, but I think we as an industry do a bad job explaining it, because most of the time it's not us in front of the customer trying to sell us PM. It's a sales guy. Now Joey's a different situation because he's a one guy's thing, so he can do that. But in my case, we have a sales guy that sells PM. I don't know about Dusty, but it's not the technician that's selling the PM. Now I go out there if I do repairs someplace and I can explain the customer the PM process, I can try that. But most of the time, when it comes down to it, the salesman comes out there, gives him his little sales spiel, and goes about his business. And then, we're the guys in the back end that have to clean it up. So
that's how we are too. We have a couple sales guys, and they do the contract and they, survey the equipment, and then we go out there and we do the PM. And like you were saying earlier, Joey, it's like, or Pat, I can't remember which one of you guys said it, but if it's a 4-hour PM, but you're there for 6 hours, but you line up more work and you're finding more issues, you're gonna bring in revenue. So at the end of the day, I've never had any issues with that. If it takes me longer, and I say, well, hey, I found a few issues, found some things going out, and then you compensate yourself for that revenue, and nobody cares. I mean, if you're making money, and if you're taking care of the customer, it's kind of, you can go over a little bit.
Yeah,
right. That's one of the.
Go ahead, Joey.
Saying that's talking about the time. That's one of the biggest questions people ask on a lot of my posts is how long does that take you to do? How long does that take? I mean, my answer is as long as it takes. Every equipment's different. There's no time. I may spend 2 weeks. That sounds crazy. 2 weeks in one restaurant, but I'm going through every single piece of equipment, cleaning it. I mean, you have, I know it's tough for a lot of companies to do that, but it needs to become a normal thing.
Dude, I had a country club that had like 6 ice machines. It had a full kitchen. It had like 3 bars. It had a halfway house on an island over a bridge over a pond. It had an ice machine, a full kitchen in there. And someone wrote the PM for like 10 hours. I'm like, I can't clean 6 ice machines in 10 hours. I was like, what? Who wrote this? So
Right.
I'd go out there. I'd be out there for like 3 or 4 days. But
Right.
Guess what, dude? I'm coming back with like 6, 7, 8 tickets. I mean, I'm generating all kinds of revenue on the backside. And the customer's like, well, I'm only paying this amount, but this guy's here for these extra days. And, he's doing a really thorough job. You look better in the customer's eyes.
That's right.
Justin brings up a point. He says owners have been burnt by the PM maintenance theater for so long where really nothing more than a bare minimum was done. Great job bringing back quality work and real prevention. Awesome work, Joey. So.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Oh, that was Joseph. What's up, dude? Thank you.
So we need to do a better job doing the PM and making it worthwhile to the customer. I don't know how many times I've seen a 4 and 8 hour PM and a guy's there for 2 or 3 hours and leaves. I'm like, there's no way he did anything he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, Joseph does a damn good job. He did a video yesterday, maybe been the day before, about an ice cream machine. Man, he cleaned the shit out of that machine. It was awesome. He did a very good job, and he gets it. Like I say, man, it needs to be a norm. It needs to be normal. And it's going to take a lot of Mr. Pat Finley talking to the world, but I think we can get there.
Yeah, we're trying to do a big PM thing right now for a school. Right now, it's just like ice machines and rational combi ovens, but we're hoping it grows into more. But the sales guys in there, it needs to be this amount of time. I'm like, man, I was like, I don't know how you're going to do it. The stuff you want to do, and we only have this much time at each school. I was like, it's going to be rough. I said, the problem is, I could probably do it in that time, but the guys that are going to get sent there aren't going to be able to do it in that time. So are they going to take longer, or are they going to cut corners and to get it done in that amount of time? I said, that's what you got to watch. I mean, I know if I'm not going to get it done that time, I'm going to get it done the way it needs to be done, whether it takes 3 hours or 6 hours. But the other guy says, he's got the dispatcher, well, you're only scheduled 3 hours. And they start freaking out at 2.5 hours and just button up and leave. I'm like, no, you can't be that way. So, it just comes down to doing the right thing and taking care of your customer.
That's right. Yes, sir. Exactly. That's right. That's right.
So, you said, do you do hot side PMs too, or mainly just refrigeration, or do you do everything on the PM? It just depends on the customer, or?
Well, I haven't found a customer that wants to be set up on a regular quarterly hot side PM. A lot of times they'll have guys come in. There's a guy on LinkedIn named Roy, couple of folks. They travel around and, maybe once, twice a year, they'll go in and do a deep cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the place will shut down for a day or two, something like that. But no, Pat, I haven't been able to get that set up. But anytime I work on a fryer or oven, I'm cleaning it.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes beyond just
especially the past 2 years, because the kitchens have been so short-handed, and I'm friends with a lot of these guys, and I've been knowing them for years, just working with them, whether they're at one restaurant or the one across town, it's the same guy. And, they're working their butt off.
Yeah, so it comes down to, a lot of times you can do a PM, but now you're doing a PM. So say if you're working on a grill and you got a burner that's burning like crap. Well, if one burner is burning like crap, you probably have more burners that are like crap. Or, you got a manual valve and it's sticking. So you shut gas off and you pull that valve apart, you put some grease in there and put it back together. If you're going to do that on one, go ahead and do it on the other 3 or the other 5 or the other 7. How many ever manual burners are on there? Don't take the time, just do the one. Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but guess what? Something else is going to be squeaking next day or the next week. So go ahead and, hey, this one was stuck. I didn't want to move. I freed it up or replaced it. I went ahead and I pulled the other ones out and I greased them up, stuck them back in there, made sure they're good. Made sure the burners were clear and had a good flame pattern, that kind of stuff. And just, spending an extra 15, 20 minutes reaffirms your customer that, you are looking out for their best interest.
Exactly. And that's
yes, sir. Yep.
I had a service call once on a flat top grill, and it was because the burner was dirty, completely plugged, clogged. So I had to pull it and clean it. And I went over the same thing with them. They had 4 additional ones. I'm like, I really need to come back early morning and clean all these. Because if one's like that, the rest of them are going to be like it as well. And I didn't get the okay. And 2 weeks later, I'm there cleaning the 3rd bay burner. And I go over with them again. And then it's like sometimes I always like to give that option and inform them and educate them. And then it's up to them. Because if I come back on a service call, they're not like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that was dirty. It's like, no, I told you it was dirty. You declined. So now we got to clean it. And it's not PM contract. It's, time and material, so it's totally different now.
Yeah, yes. That's right.
So refrigeration kitchen tech, he said if the PM is done correctly and thoroughly in the first go around, the ones following that will take less time. And the first one will always go over the estimated time. Yep. That's a great point. So do it right the first time, and then the ones following it will be easier. So,
especially with ice machines.
Get the guys that clean the ice. Yeah, the guys at the ice machines. That's what I was going to bring up. A guy thinks by dumping, half a bottle of scale away in the ice machine and then dumping a quarter bottle of sanitizer to clean the ice machine is not how you clean the ice machine, man. I'm sorry. That may get you by in an emergency if you have some problems to get some scale off that plate to get you by for a little bit, but I teach my guys and I tell people doing my PMs, I don't care what you do, you're tearing that ice machine apart every single time.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Unless
the only way.
Unless they've got super great water quality, and then maybe we'll do it twice a year, not every 3 months, not every quarter. But most of the time, I want those ice machines stripped completely down. Everything I run the cleaner through it. I strip it down. I soak everything. I scrub everything. Scrub the bin, scrub the unit itself, the parts, put everything back together, run sanitizer through it, sanitize my bin, and then then I begin my running my cycles, doing my counts and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That's right. Yep. It's the best way to do it. My wife works at a hospital, and she says the same thing, Pat. Guy comes in, dumps chemical in, hits a couple buttons, goes sits in the van, comes back in. Boom, he's out of there. It's crazy. Crazy.
So Jay's a wealth of information. He's a good source. But he says that if you fix one part of the unit and the other part fails at a later date, they don't care if it's a separate issue. They want the whole thing taken care of. So yeah. So if you notice something and the customer, say if you find something on a PM and you think it's going to be an issue, you got worn sheaves on a pulley, or you got, motor pulling a little higher amperage than it should, or making a little noise. you need to make sure you note that, and you need to make sure you tell your customer about that. Now, give them the option, hey, you might want to fix this now before it becomes a problem, but make sure you note that, because guess what? If you leave and you don't note that, and that thing goes down, that's on you. It's going to make you look bad. The customers, I just spent all this money on a PM, and they didn't say nothing about this making noise. And sometimes it does happen. But if it's something that you think is going to be an issue, go ahead and let your customers know up front that, hey, you might want to keep an eye on this. I found this, and I can't guarantee how long it's going to last, or that it's not going to be a problem. But
no, exactly, and it's CYA. You cover yourself, and if it's an issue later, you told them it's documented. There's no, and then they trust you. Even if they decline the repair, they don't approve it. They kind of trust you because you saw this before it became a problem. And then usually it takes away that tension, doesn't make you look like the guy who's just speeding through a PM and not really taking the thorough time. And you just, look like you know what you're doing.
Yep. It's all good points. So, where I work at, we really don't do a ton of like HVAC. We do refrigeration. There's a couple of accounts we do HVAC for. In those accounts, we don't even do PMs. They have a filter company comes through. They use those big metal racks and expandable filter media and throw in there. They throw a belt on there. They don't adjust it. If the belt's loose, it gets thrown on there, and whatever speed the belt is, it's going. The exhaust hoses are the same way. If your sheath's worn down and it's loose, they don't care. They throw a belt on there and go about the business.
Gosh,
dude, they're about numbers. So they have so many stops a day, and these guys travel the country. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time out, they put those big metal. There's a big metal grate they slide in, and then they just carry a roll of this like filter accordion, and they just throw it up on the roof, and they cut it to length and shove it in there. And it's amazing, dude. I mean, but
they're cheap.
If they're on site for an hour, you got a deal. But they don't clean coils. They don't know anything. They just change filters and belts on bail.
Yep.
I did a rooftop unit last week because the first one I worked on in a while. I made a little video about joking, but it didn't want to fire up, and I was like, okay. So I was like, it wasn't heating, so I was like, okay. I checked the belt. I was like, well, the belt's tight. I said, but it's not spinning. I checked the filters, and the filters were dated like 2 months ago, and they look brand new. I'm like, this thing hasn't ran since January. I was like, what's going on with it? And sure enough, it needed an ignition module, but I went ahead and pulled the bolts out and pulled the blower out and checked the heat exchanger because I just knew it was an old Linux and it was, they're just known for it anyways. So, sure enough, I wasn't going to fix it.
Lock it out, man. Lock it out. Pull the plug on the gas valve.
So, got refrigeration kitchen tech. He says, yep, we've been burned on it too many times. Document everything on a PM, no matter how small detail is. Yeah. Anything small and insignificant to you can end up being a huge ordeal in the long run. So Jason Latimer, 100%. If you don't detail it in the notes, what you saw and who you told, you'll eat it later. So we should have Jason on here. He's a PM manager.
What's up, Jason?
He's a PM manager for his company.
Dude.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him on here since we started this.
He's one of these days, dude. Super cool too.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's awesome, dude.
He's another great asset to this community. One of these days I'll get him on here. But he's a busy guy. He's got a new role at work. I've been missing his content because he hasn't been putting anything out. I reached out to him and messaged him to make sure he was okay. I was like, hey, you still kicking? You still working? Or
get that upgrade.
He's doing good. He's just trying to adjust and get all his new responsibilities and stuff. So I'll let it slide. He'll be back.
Got the brand new truck. It's looking good.
Yeah.
So some takeaways is, as an industry, we need to do a better job explaining what the PM is and actually doing the PM properly. No more just in and out, wiping stuff off. Take the time and do it right. Especially, like you said, the first time it's going to be rough. If you got greasy, dirty coils, make sure you get the right cleaner. I've been in many restaurants under a year old. They put coolers or freezers in places they shouldn't put it, and the coils are just jam packed full of grease. They had a 2-door upright freezer under the hood next to the fryer, and this thing was 9 months old, and you could not see the fins in the coil.
No doubt,
dude. It was terrible. So I got it clean without cutting it out. I ended up sliding condensing unit forward so it was hanging off at an angle. And I put a pan under it, and I got that root beer. I don't know. It looks like root beer collar degreaser coil cleaner, and just gave it hell like 4 or 5 times. And it got to where I could see through it. I rinsed it out a bunch, but you don't want to make a mess when you're in your customer's location either. Yeah, the venom packs.
Like this.
Yeah, I love that. That's the foam party stuff, though. If you don't rinse it out, you're on the roof having a foam party.
Yeah. Be careful. That stuff's dangerous.
Yeah.
You shoot through the condenser fan.
Yep.
So make sure we're selling the PM the right way and informing the customer what it really is intended for. Sometimes customers, we all have salesmen, and sometimes the salesman will tell the customer, "Oh, we're fixing everything on the PMs." The PM isn't to fix stuff; it's to check optimal operation of the equipment and to catch anything before it becomes a big problem.
Yeah.
On a combi oven, Rationale, I'm not gonna pick on. I'll pick on them because I do a lot of them, but they have a PM checklist, and they want you to change the gasket on the blower. They want you to change the it's a little steam hose between the steam generator and the oven cavity, and there's a couple other hoses and door gaskets they want you to change. But the problem is, if you do it the way they want it done, that's like a 2-hour PM, because if you have to pull that blower motor, you have to pull the wheel off, pull the motor out to change that gasket. If you change that gasket and you pull that motor off, you actually have to recalibrate that oven, and that's like a half-hour process. And so, you have to be aware of what you're selling the customer and making sure they're aware. But
exactly. Have you seen those Common PM checklists?
No, I haven't. There is one.
Yeah, there's one for the PM process. There's one for the descaling process.
I need that PM
It's
process.
like 3
one.
pages.
I need that because we always, for our grocery store chain has a common terms, they just give us like the startup sheets.
Really? No,
yeah,
I got an email with the PM. There's a descaling and then a PM. I'll email it over to you.
Yeah, you have to email it to me because I want it now.
Yeah.
What is that on?
Thorough.
It's a combi oven, so it's an oven and a steamer in one. They can be a pain in the butt. I've got a grocery store chain that has them, and they just don't take care of them worth a dang. The PM is pretty much just going through the startup checklist, and it doesn't really. You get your amp draws and you change the door gasket and that kind of stuff, but it's really nothing. So I'm actually interested to see that PM sheet because I thought someone I worked with asked the factory about it, but apparently not. So,
no. Do you clean the sensors on PMs, like descale them, or if only it's an issue?
Well, most of mine are always boilerless, so I don't have that problem. So.
Oh, okay.
But like on the Rationales, I'll pull the sensor out and check them. Yeah. So. Water filters are optional. Yeah. Refrigeration kitchen decks, the water filters are optional. I got burned on some water filters a couple weeks ago. So the water filter, people have this thing that if it has pressure, the water filter is good. That's not the case, especially with these carbon filters. So I had a system that had great pressure, those carbon filters, and I kept getting water errors on the combo therm. And the carbon filter actually came apart and released that carbon into the water stream, and it was clogging up all the nozzles and orifices in the oven.
Oh, nice.
But the pressure still looked good. So, for those customers that have that set up, it's that same grocery store chain. I just said, hey, we need to change the filters every 6 months. We do the PM, we do the door gasket and everything else. So try to put together a little checklist for them. So we actually do that one every 2 months. So we go in there, we change the door gaskets, and we do that little check sheet, which hopefully it's going to change now that if I get the right sheet. But
do you guys do a lot of cooking equipment PMs?
It's hit or miss. So like I've got a customer, we do a full kitchen PM. He only wants me in there. Just got a good rapport with him, and it's pretty easy, pretty basic. They got like 4 convection ovens. They got 2 common thermos boilers. They got a tilt skillet, and then on the other side they got like a bank of 2 fryers. They've got a flat top. They've got a char boiler, and stuff like that. So I do it on it's a dish machine too, and a booster heater. But I do all that. So the ovens are pretty simple. I pull the fronts off. I clean them out, because they suck air in the front for the burners, of course. So I suck that out, shop back. I'll pull the back off. There's some louvers back there. I'll take a shop back and a little whisk brush, and I'll clean out all the vents. I'll brush out the motors. I'll try to blow them out if they're too bad with nitrogen. I'll fire them up, make sure I get good flame pattern, good on the burners, that kind of stuff, and make sure it's sensing good. It's not trying to light 2 or 3 times. It fires off that first time. If it's struggling to light, I'll go ahead and pull it out. I'll blow the burners out and see if it's just a carryover issue or if it's a flame sensor issue. If it's a flame sensor issue, I'll either clean it or replace it. And then the combi ovens, I'm descaling them. I'm just checking temperatures on everything. So I'll run everything up temperature, make sure everything's good. The regular ovens, the combi ovens do the same thing. Then the char broilers, I'm just checking the knobs. If they're turning easy, if they're turning rough, I go ahead and grease them. Make sure I get a good flame pattern. Make sure my radiants aren't bent and hanging down, blocking the flame. Making sure I don't have any bent or broken grates. Then the flat top, I'm just, I get there, and one of the first things I do is I turn that flat top to 350. So by a couple hours later, I get back to it. It's evened out. It's, nice and even across. I check my temperatures. I calibrate them if it's needed. The fryers, I pull the burner blower out, clean the blower wheel off because it sucks dust in and grease. I check microamps. I make sure I get that good. They're fry masters and high efficiency, so get that little window. You don't want a blue flame. You want a blue flame initial startup, but once it runs, you want that nice, rich, orangish flame. So I check for that. And then the dish machine, they do a pretty good job descaling it. So I'm just going in there. I'm checking amperage. I'm looking for loose wires, making sure nothing's stuck in the conveyor, nothing's stuck on the flow. And then the booster heater, I'm just making sure temperature's good, checking connections, making sure I don't have no leaks, and then checking amp draw.
Okay, nice, man. I got one question for you, Pat. On the convection ovens with your fan motor, can it, and if it can, how much will a dirty fan motor affect the cooking quality?
So I've seen some, especially with customers that are doing like a lot of proteins in them, like those wheels clog up, and some of the fan motors, like some of the burners are below, and that heat just kind of radiates in there. And some of them, that fan motor actually sucks that heat from the burners in and into the fan motor and blows it around. And I've seen it where it actually the fan motor the fan wheel gets blocked and it affects the airflow, and the burner will actually blow itself out because it doesn't have enough oxygen coming in because it's a fan assisted, so that fan really sucks air in. So if that fan's not pulling air in, that burner will actually blow itself out because it doesn't have enough oxygen. It's kind of weird, but yeah, those dirty blowers can affect all kinds of stuff, especially in a convection oven where it's always the same direction. It's either high or low. Most of your combi ovens, they do a back and forth. So they'll run one direction for so long, they'll stop and they'll actually run the other direction to try to help with your evenness of cooking. So it kind of eliminates some of that stuff. But yeah, that blower wheel gets dirty, it's going to affect cooking. It's going to affect heating. It's going to affect evenness.
Okay.
Who's connected? Not answering. So, but yeah, you want to make sure the blower was clean. Yeah. It's nothing on call service, so I don't care. Oh yeah. I haven't been on call in a while, man. We've got another guy on there, and then I had like 5 weeks where I wasn't on call, which is kind of crazy because I was gone a bunch, and then yeah. So I'm waiting on to see what the new schedule comes out. We should have maybe another guy jumping on me on call schedule. I don't know. We'll see. It's not really. I hate our own call system because we only have one guy on. But the problem is like, there's only 2 refrigeration guys, and then there's cooking guys. So the cooking guys are on call, but if the refrigeration call comes in, they don't do it. They turn it away. What? But like I don't get to turn anything away. And then the other refrigeration guy I'm on call with, the other refrigeration guy we have, he doesn't know combi oven, so anytime a combi oven calls, he gets turned away. But when I'm on call, dude, if I turn something away, I better be dying.
That's how I am, man. We got other guys who'll turn down kitchen calls, but I got to take everything that comes in, HVAC, kitchen, whatever. I don't have an excuse.
So I always tell the guys, the other guys on call that doesn't do refrigeration.
Oh, for sure, man.
The hot side only guys on call, I just tell them, hey, you get something you can't work on, call me. And the same thing with the other guys. Like you get combi or something, call me if it's a top tier customer. I'll take care of it.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. My hot side guys are gonna hate me because I'm trying to get them all to get ladder racks and have extension ladders because I told my bosses that there's no reason they can't work on exhaust hoods. I said it's a motor, a belt, pulleys, a shaft, a blower wheel. There's no reason they can't do that and make up air.
Yeah.
I said there's no reason they can't go out on a no heat call.
Yeah.
I said it's just pretty much a fryer. It's the same stuff. And he's like, oh, that's a good point. I was like, and the hot side guys are just giving me the eye. I'm like, welcome to my world.
Yep. That's like today. I had to go work on a big recycling center. It's like a big factory. But I mean, I had to take that and it was a airflow issue. But I mean, it was a carrier rooftop unit, but got to take it. I mean, I can't turn it down. But it's good. It makes me more versatile. It makes me more valuable. I don't really mind it. I don't complain.
That's true.
Yeah,
What's up, Jesus?
So Jesus says ice is good. That PM should be one of the most thorough one overall time. Yeah. So ice machine PMs, man, like I said, it's not a dump chemical and run. I mean, most people don't realize that ice is technically considered a food. A lot of guys don't realize that. And you see all over social media these guys posting these dirty ice machines and I don't get ice anymore in my drinks because of this. Well, I mean, if you see that machine and you're leaving it like that, you're just as guilty as the last guy, though. I mean, you're taking that picture and posting it. If you're not there cleaning it, if you take a picture of a dirty ice machine and then you post a picture of it afterwards and you have pride in it, that's cool. But if you just take a picture of a dirty ice machine, it wasn't running, I just had to change this and it's running, but I'm not cleaning it. That's bullshit, man.
Yep. They should all the time, man.
Should include a cleaning on an ice machine. If it hadn't been clean or if it's dirty, and that's what my service manager has told me. Is every service car ice machine we expect to bill to clean it. It's just part because that's gonna most of the time 80% gonna be the service call. Well, because it's dirty.
The customer doesn't realize. So if that ice machine is dirty and they don't catch it till Saturday night or Sunday, they call in there freaking out they don't have ice. But the thing is, even if I can come out there and get it running, you're still not gonna have a full bin of ice for 24 hours. Yep. You're still buying ice. Exactly. Ice machine is not an instant return. It takes 12 to 24 hours to fill that bin back up, and they try to explain to the customer, I mean, I've went out on Saturday nights, got a machine running. Hey, a lot of times I won't, if I'm on call, if it's after hours, I won't clean the machine. I will do the chemical. I will clean what I can to get it running. And then I will come back the following week during regular hours and take the time to properly clean it. I will get them operational, but I'm not going to leave it that way. And, but I've went out on Saturday and I've got the machine running and had them call back in Sunday morning. We still don't have ice. Well, how much is ice in there? About a quarter. Well, it was 8 hours. 8 hours ago I was there. It's going to take 24 hours to fill that thing up. Well, we need ice. Well, I explained to you yesterday before I came out, you're still going to buy ice for tomorrow. But sometimes it's cheaper for them to buy ice to get them through the weekend than it is to have us come out, though.
Exactly.
Man, I see a lot of times, I'll go out and fix the machine, and I'll say, hey, let's go ahead and get you on a quarterly ice cleaning. And they'll say, oh, we clean it every day. My guys clean it every day. And it looks clean. I mean, you pull the panel off, the curtain's clean, the sides are clean, right above the distribution tubes clean, everything's spotless. I'll take a Manitowoc, I'll take a couple screws out, pop that distribution tube off, and they're like, whoa.
Shake the line out of it, shake the pea gravel out of it.
Yep. Rub my hand underneath the ice diverter, black.
Dude, my trick is like a customer says they clean their machine. I'll be like, hey, you got a white towel? I'm going to check something. I'm like, yeah. I grab that white towel and I run it on the bottom of the water trough. And I'm like, here's your clean ice machine. I'm like, and dude, they're like, that's in there? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, there's a reason why we need to do it or someone needs to be trained professionally to do this. Yeah.
That's true. Yep. I mean, it is important for them to wipe it down. That's good. Wipe it down. But let us come in quarterly.
So,
yep. Very important. Yep. Another thing that gets missed is drain pans, especially on reach-in coolers. Drain pans never get cleaned.
Yep.
I mean, and it's very important. Very important. So, pulls and drains, two most important things to clean.
Yeah, I use the Viper drain treatment stuff you spray in there. Works pretty well. I always, when I teach guys, I train them. I tell them like, oh, it's clogged, blow it out. I'm like, no, you don't want to blow that out because whatever you're blowing from the outside back in is going to end up back in that drain and clog it again later. If you're going to blow it out, you need to blow it from the inside out to get it out. And like, but if there's food in there, I'm like, you don't want to blow that out anyways. I've got a Milwaukee hose kit that goes on the shop vac. It's got like 6 different size nozzles, man. I can pretty much suck any drain line out with that thing in my M18 little shop vac. So
That's cool. Good deal, man. I use a little on the reach in drains. When I pop them off, I have a little. You probably have one too. Those little springs that Bun
yeah, the bun
gives you.
cleanout tool. The bun
Yeah,
cleanout tool. Yep.
those things are awesome for drain lines. Perfect.
So another one that it works really well is you go to your local music store, like where they sell musical instruments, and you buy a trombone cleaner. It's like that, but on steroids. It's like 8 foot. It's 8 foot long, and it's got little bristles on the end.
Man, I'm gonna
So
check that out.
yeah, so you can get them on Amazon. They're like $6 or $7. It's a trombone cleaner, dude, and it works great because you can shove that thing for 6 or 8 feet, dude, and get everything cleaned out real good. It's got a little brush, and it'll drag everything back out. It does a pretty good job.
That flexible.
Oh yeah, it's the same spring material as that bun, but it's a little
Okay.
smaller, but it's like 6 or 8 feet long, and it's got brushes on both ends.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, we picked it up for something, man. I got 2 of them, dude. And they're sweet, dude. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, I'll get something's clogged. I'm like, I wonder if this will get it, dude. And it goes through it every time. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
That's a whole nother show we can do. Unconventional tools, man.
Gosh, I have so many.
Mm-hmm. So. All right, guys. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. So just to reiterate what we went over, PMs, do it right. Take the time to do it right. Make sure your customer sees the value in it. If it's quoted 4 hours and it takes you 6 hours, it's no big deal. You're doing the right thing. As long as you do the job right, you're thorough, your return on investment will come back tenfold.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a PM, take your time, do it right, and just like everything else, have a little pride in your work and do the right thing, and everything else comes along.
I agree, 100%.
So, Joey, where can everybody find you if you want to send your plug out for your TikTok and your YouTube and LinkedIn?
Yes, Next Level Tech on TikTok, Next Level Techs with a Z on YouTube, which I'm kind of lazy on YouTube. I don't really get a lot of feedback for some reason. I don't know. The reason I do the social media is to get feedback and to talk and to meet people like you. And I don't know. I suck at YouTube. But LinkedIn is Joey Hall.
Sweet. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I'll make sure I tag you and all this stuff tomorrow. So thanks, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and end it now. See you guys.
All right.